Welcome to Teed Off Dad, the podcast where the fairways are long, the patience is short, and the stories, well, they're endless. I'm your host, Rich, a middle-aged dad with a golf obsession, a growing handicap, and a family that keeps me on my toes on and off the course. Each week I'll take you through my latest rounds, the highs, the hazards, and the hilarious moments in between, because let's face it, life's a lot like golf. Unpredictable, frustrating, and very occasionally brilliant. One dad, one handicap, endless stories. Let's tee off. I know I've been talking a lot about reasons why I'm not playing golf, but I think no more is truer than September and October with the time pressures of life. Non-golfing activities such as taking the teenagers to work, visiting parents, doing work around the house, just left no time for golf. Except, I'll give you that, for the 7 o'clock weekend tee times or after work, which now, as we head into winter, are both unfeasible. My biggest struggle on the back of that has been motivation, knowing what the family expect of me, the pressures of just keeping everything going, helping the wife do all the jobs around the house, just being there and present. It's just been too much for my golf game. But the motivation has been one of the real things that I've just lost a bit of motivation, and even when I had opportunity to get up early and go, it's just not there. One of the big things that has hindered my motivation and hindered golf playing this year has been a persistent hip or lower back issue that flares up when walking, standing, basically anything where I'm not sat down, which has been a massive detriment of playing golf. Even the 9 holes, it's not an agonising pain, it's just so persistent and annoying that I just can't. It gets me in a mindset that I just don't want to do it. I don't want to play golf. The upside of this is I'm hopefully on the road to recovery, or the road to figuring out what's going on. I've spoken to a physio. I've had 6 physio sessions. Hasn't really done what we expected. He used his is it the gun, the like a massage gun. I had acupuncture. I was doing exercises with exercise bands, but really none of them showed any improvement. So I've been further referred to a specialist to investigate. Now, about 12 months ago, I had a crazy plan to open up an indoor golf studio. Plan in my head, for what it's worth, was a couple of bays in an industrial unit, bit of a cafe type area where you could grab drinks, maybe coffees, chocolate bars, crisps, all the simple non-cooking, the easy types of snacks and food. A bit of a lounge area, and yeah, that was kind of where my head sat. So I did all the work, priced up, TrackMan installs, that type of thing, did some looking into units. It was something that I was looking at and just realised funding. You need really a big chunk of money up front to get it going, to start before it gets hopefully busy. You need that money. But talking to the wife, we had a chat, said really we're not in the position at the moment to do something like that. But one of the ideas we did have future So it's not, a kiboshed idea completely. Whereas my daughter is currently an apprentice chef, so opportunity would knock that if it was viable and it was running. She finished her apprenticeship in 18 months to 2 years. If you could install a kitchen, get all that set up and running, she could be doing what she likes, the cake and the dessert side of that. And even then you bring into the likes of toasted sandwiches, that type of stuff. And then the wife hit a bombshell, which I thought was genius, was to also offer sessions for like craft type sessions. So for any wives that aren't interested in golf, that don't want to stay at home while their husband or partner, boyfriend goes out, you could go along. There'd be sessions where wives and partners could sit down, do crafting, whether it be sewing, knitting, anything like that, even scrapbooking, all that type of stuff. And then it brings people together. So looking at that, all good ideas, made a note of them all, added it to kind of the 2-year cost plan, the business incomings, outgoings, where you'd need to be, and just left it on the back burner. Now, following that, I noticed that opening up in Derby was an indoor golf studio. Now, Derby's about 20 minutes from me. I'd noticed it was opening. I'd seen it advertised on Instagram and thought, yeah, really good. I'll go and have a look. It's called Drive-In Golf, which is, I like the name, in an industrial unit set back off the main road in Derby. So took the youngest daughter, went one evening. I think they've got, 4 or 5 Trackman bays that you can rent by the hour. You've got 2 dartboard sections where you can rent those to play darts if you want. They've kind of got a big screen and like a tables and chairs area as well. And they've even got some really quirky things. So each has like a stool, a high, maybe like a breakfast bar, or a table with stools to sit on behind the golfer. And on that, they've then got one of those flexi arms that you can put your phone in and change the angle and just basically record yourself if that's what you want to do. It's based on Trackman, so they're all overhead Trackman. And overall, really good place to go. Price was competitive. I think they got a vending machine. I think they were looking at going into food. They offer lessons. They offer kind of like parties. So generally, a really, really good place. So, yeah, had fun. Few games with the daughter, such as smashing cars. Did like a bowling one where you hit the ball and try and knock the pins down. So, yeah, I'd highly recommend Drive-In in Derby. Following the visit to Drive-In Golf in Derby, I wouldn't say it's an epiphany. It's probably been the biggest question whizzing around my head for ages now about my golf membership. And I've finally made a decision one way or the other. Basically, 2 decisions. Number 1, I stick with it. I live with it. And I just get out more. Even if it's just 9 holes at a weekend, if I've got days off, you just keep going and just really pushing through to next year till the weather changes again, and then just really hammer it down. Or the alternative is investigate how I end my membership. Now that there is something reasonably local, you're driving golf, use the money that I would be paying on membership and go there 3-4 times a month and just do it that way. As you might have got the inkling, I did cancel my membership. Was a little bit tricky, but ultimately, if I'm physically struggling to walk 9 holes with my hip, lower back, then why do I just keep paying in the vain hope that it'll all get sorted? So at least indoor golf, if I need to sit down for a couple of minutes, I can. I'm not going to be stood up. It's only, let's say you book it for an hour, so I'm only there for an hour. I'm not walking. So yes, I officially cancelled the membership. I've had confirmation now that it's cancelled, and the new era of playing more indoor golf in the warm, in the dry, is where I'm at now. So challenge is, don't waste the money that I've been saving from memberships, and by cancelling my membership, and use it to good advantage. Let's get golfing. And then following that, it then gives me options as the weather improves next year, as we go into March, April, May. I've then got money that I would have paid in membership, and I can start playing different courses. You know, there's always that bit of money there. You not have to find it every time you want to go and play golf. If you want to go to a new course, want to travel, want to go anywhere, I've then got that little stockpile of money that I've built up over winter. Keep it in a pot or an account somewhere where I'm not going to use it for everyday things, and that will become my golfing pot. If I've not played enough over Christmas, it could even be enough to go away for a couple of days. But yeah, officially membership cancelled, winter golf is off, indoor golf is on. An update on the back hip, and I've mentioned it a little bit earlier in the podcast. Since recording that first section, the referrals come through. I've been to see the specialist hip consultant. I've had x-rays done. I've had MRIs done on my hip and my lower back. And as of today, we are Remembrance Day, so the 11th of the 11th. I have now got a 3-week wait to speak to the consultant. Once he's basically finished his holiday, had a look at the scans to see the course of action. So positively, I am encouraged. I think and hope that from the imagery that he will have, he'll be able to see what the problem is. We can start putting, whether it be exercises in place or whatever we need to do. But painkillers have never touched it. It's something that even when I'd gone overboard with had a couple of cocodamol at the start of the round and a couple part way through the round, which I know is not the recommended distance apart or time scale apart, but even when I'm doing that, it barely touched it, and I was still in major discomfort walking the last 4 or 5 holes, which I then realised is affecting the way I turn. And if I've not had a buggy, I've been fortunate enough my last few rounds been able to have a buggy. but the ones where walking, pushing the trolley, and granted, even the electric trolley has helped, gone from a standard push-along to a now electric push-along. That's made a difference. But generally, I've noticed, I think, was it Kirby Muxloe was one of the ones where I started to think, this is hampering my game massively. Not only am I struggling, but got to, I think it was the 16th, a long par 5. As I turned, I felt like a twinge, and I hooked it into the trees out of bounds. Me second shot then down the fairway took a little bit off it, less twist or less turn. Then again, I kind of not so much hooked it, but I suppose I did. Aiming down the right hand side of the fairway, ended on the left hand side, and I could feel it in my hip. So eventually I've started to realise these things, and I'm hoping that speaking to the consultant, speaking to the specialist, will find a way so that next year I can have a real good push on. I'm 21.6 according to England Golf at the moment, handicap. Now, I seriously believe I can knock 6 or 7 off that if I play more often and I'm not hampered by my hip. So 15 is my target for next year. All being well, I want to get down to a 15 handicap next year, which for me is breaking 90 more often than not. Now, I know for a lot of people out there, they're looking at breaking 80s and even getting close to par. I think I've got the 100 down now. I'm breaking 100 more often than not. So if I can get to that point now where I'm hovering around 90 next year, that I'd be chuffed to bits if that's where I end up being next year. Going back a couple of episodes, I've spoken about people, say, full golf attire at the driving range, Donald Trump and his white golf shoes when he turned up at the Ryder Cup. Generally, playing golf, standards, I don't think are probably moving as quick with the times as the rest of the world is, or the rest of sport is. And one example I've come across was I played a course in Wolverhampton last year. Now, you look, all the major golfing manufacturers of clothing, say your Pumas, your Adidas, Titleist, TaylorMade, Druids, whoever you put in that bracket, they all do golfing hoodies. So the assumption was there'd be no issue. Now, the golf course I went to, I dropped in the pro shop, because one of the things I do like to do that I've kind of gone on this year, has tried to look at, is every course I play is to buy a branded golf ball or a stamped golf ball of that course. So I've got a bit of a collection at the minute. I've got me Belfry, my Celtic Manor, put Patrick and Dunsky in Scotland, which I think I don't know if I've spoken before, but is an absolute belter of a course. Some amazing views. But went into the club shop, spoke to the pro in there, wanted to buy the ball, bought the ball, walked out, and on my way out, he just asked, was I playing golf? Well, I stood there, yep, And he says, unfortunately, we don't allow hoodies at this course. Do you have anything else you can wear? Fortunately, I had another jacket in my bag, but it did start me thinking, hoodies have gone away from, your hoodlums and your youngsters out causing trouble now. They're a regular golfing attire in the modern day. And it just made me think, is it a standards thing? Do they think that if you're wearing a hoodie, you're kind of the ilk that maybe you're not going to repair your pitch marks, you're not going to not maintain the course, but you're not going to look after the course as you play it. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. Are they behind the times, or is it just a standard that helps with other things? Is it something that keeps standards high, that they believe that's their way of keeping the right people playing golf? Now, if it puts off youngsters, do they have enough members at the club that they don't need it? Or is it a bit short-sighted? I don't know. I just think, for me, the standards of shorts can't be sports shorts or logoed football team shorts. Polo shirts, I think, is something that is important. I'm not a general t-shirt wearer on a golf course. It's part of getting ready for it, part of the attire, part of playing golf. But yeah, hoodies, I don't know, I think they do need to move with the times a little bit more. Well, with that we come to the end of another episode of Teed Off Dad. I'd like to thank everybody that's either a new listener or anybody that's stuck with it. I really appreciate you listening to me and my experiences in golf. With regards to just a couple of stats and figures, we're currently over, where are we? We're about 60 downloads of the podcast, so thank you everybody that's had a listen. It's really appreciated. TikTok, we're over 15, or I'm over 1,500 followers on that now, trying to engage with lots of people, getting ideas, picking people's brains, posting what I've done, what I'm doing, bits of videos of swing, etc. So yeah, I'm really grateful for anybody that's interacting, and I'm open to suggestion. This is still, although we're 6 in now podcast wise, it's still me. I'm still recording it myself, still trying to edit it, upload it all on my own. So as I do, a big shout out for Cleanfeed, who I record with. I do all my recording through an online Cleanfeed system, able to download it. I then edit it in Riverside FM. Enjoying that. It's simple to do, easy enough for me. As a 47-year-old man, if it's easy for me, it should be easy for most of people. And I'm uploading using Buzzsprout. So those are the 3 bits that really have made it easy for me to start this and go on. Now, any suggestions you do have, I'm open to it. As I said, you can either find me on TikTok at teed.off.dad, contact me on email, teedoffdad@gmail.com. And yeah, thank you for listening. One dad, one handicap. This has been Teed Off Dad. Thank you and good night.